Hey, Amelia.
Hey, Janine.
I'm going to check out a movie. Want to come?
Sure.
Welcome to this episode of Check Out Cinema, a podcast where two librarians check out movies and review them. Yay!
We're always so excited when we check out a movie.
I mean, who wouldn't be? Like, just talking about movies is also very exciting.
For us, it is.
Yes. And recently we were talking about movies we've checked out.
Yes.
What's something you've seen recently?
I checked out a couple movies from Downtown Library just because. I checked out Public Enemy, following our time with Footlight Parade. I checked out Ganja and Hess to have some fun with a vampire movie. I'm always in a vampire mood. I watched Sexy Beast on Criterion. They have this whole series on pool movies, like for the summer.
Yeah.
Like movies that feature a pool as like a metaphor or some sort of, it's like some plot device. And that does centers around action, like near at a pool.
I was oohing at all those titles because like Ganja and Hess, I watched that recently, I think within the last few months when it was at Central Cinema, which
That's
is
right, yeah.
Local independent movie house. And so it's always nice to be like, oh, I have seen that, as opposed to the usual conversation, which is, I haven't seen that one. I've heard it's good though.
Yeah.
But I recently watched Night Moves.
Yes.
Hold on, I gotta do that again because I bumped my... I went like straight, like
bam, punch my microphone.
Darrell's like, finally they're not touching their microphones. It's like, psych. Okay. Anyway, I recently checked out Night Moves.
And I physically checked that out from the library on a whim after the passing of the late, great Gene Hackman.
After Gene Hackman passed, I saw The Conversation, which came out just a year before Night Moves. They
just, by some coincidence, they had it at Central. And I saw it at Central a couple months ago. And you'll love this. So I'm sitting in the Conversation. In the row in front of me, there are about four, I would say, like 17 to 22-year-old boys. And it's very important. There's like this gaggle of them. And they're on their phones the entire time. The entire time of the film, they're going from Snapchat to Twitter to Instagram to text to Snapchat, like just circular scrolling through 4 different apps. And then the movie's done, and I'm like, what an incredible film. What a picture. And then one of the guys, stands up and turns around to his friends. He's like, yeah, great movie. Probably the 3rd time I've seen that.
What a stupid conversation.
I'm like, you didn't even see it now.
No, he was too busy having his own conversation. The kids were like, conversation, don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
And you said, let me make this joke. Don't mind if I do.
I mean, when it presents itself.
But so you saw The Conversation after Gene Hackman passed.
Or was it not? I don't know. I think it was around the same time. I also saw it at Central Cinema, and I was floored by the whole film. I thought it was just incredible. It quickly became one of my favorite films, I think, in the top 5, certainly.
Really?
Yeah, it was just so good.
Yeah, the bunk much better track if you paid more attention to the recording, less attention to what they were talking about.
I can't see why a couple of questions about what the hell's going on can get you so out of joint.
Because I can't sit here and explain the personal problems of my clients.
I heard if you filled me in a little bit once in a while, did you ever think of that?
It has nothing to do with me, and even less to do with you.
It's curiosity. Did you ever hear that? It's just goddamn human nature.
Listen, if there's one surefire rule that I have learned in this business is that I don't know anything about human nature. I don't know anything about curiosity. That's not part of what I do. This is my business.
It was really out there. Like, I wasn't expecting what I saw. And I always, like, the judge of, like, a fantastic, or, like, the metric for me for, like, a fantastic film is one that, like, I truly can't see coming. Yeah. And The Conversation is one, as is this one that we're going to talk about, Night Moves. That was certainly one where I didn't see any of that coming.
Yeah.
We started this conversation anyhow.
You did.
Didn't know.
It's you did. You just don't remember it.
You also recently watched Raising Arizona.
Oh yeah, for the second time. So I caught it during quarantine, and it was just a fun, funny, haha movie.
All right, you hayseeds, it's a stick up. Everybody freeze. Everybody down on the ground.
Well, which is it, young feller? You want I should freeze or get down on the ground? Mean to say, if I freeze, I can't rightly drop. And if I drop, I'm going to be in motion. You see?
Shut up!
Okay, then.
And then most recently, I was asked to join a live podcast recording with another local film podcaster, Filmsplaining with Martyn Strange. So watching that a second time, watching anything a second time, you know, the film always opens up for you. I was reading a lot of journal articles on it just to try and, like, you know, gain further insight, you know, go beyond what my own perspective can give me. And there were articles on Raising Arizona and the American Dream, Raising Arizona and postmodernism and schizophrenia, Raising Arizona and, like, I really struggled with philosophy, but it was like comparing like Schrodinger's cat to Raising Arizona. So like the second that you remark upon some sort of reality, it becomes the reality. So it's like, you know, when something is left unremarked upon, it exists and it doesn't. And then it's the, like, interaction of your perspective changing the reality of that thing. It's all, like, I really struggle with stuff like that, but it was all so interesting. There's always so much more to a film, and, you know, I think it's always a good idea to open yourself up to other critique and criticism, especially even if and especially if you're like really struggling to understand like what someone is trying to explain to you, like that. There's like real value and merit to that perspective.
As someone who briefly minored in philosophy, I feel like if you're not a little bit confused or taken aback by philosophy, then you're not taking it seriously. The people who think they've totally got it under control, they understand philosophy, are just the insufferable people that think that their opinion is right. Because I saw a lot of those people in my philosophy classes who were like, I got it, I know everything.
I didn't know you minored in philosophy.
It was extremely briefly, and actually, it was a philosophy of film class that made me drop the minor.
Oh, interesting.
It was an interesting class. It introduced me to a lot of concepts about understanding how to watch a movie and like what it means to actually see a film. Like, you know, Plato's allegory of the cave, you know, the idea of reality.
Sure.
What is reality? All those kind of things, like how movies are put together, all of those sorts of things. But we were discussing the film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Are you familiar?
Yes.
Of course. So, you know, big conceit in that film was the idea of like erasing the memory of somebody else. And the question was posed to us, is it ethical to erase the memories of somebody else or to erase your memories? And my argument was that, yes, it is ethical because there are people out there that are so traumatized by certain experiences they can't function. And so that at that point, it's like, what's more ethical, forcing them to be frozen in this like PTSD or to let them move on by erasing those memories? And this guy who was like the quintessential like person that I'm talking about, this kind of, let's call them a philosophy bro for a lack of a better term, but I think one everybody can pick up on. He was like, well, that's because women are weaker than men.
Oh.
Yeah, he just said it like straight up. He's like, well, women can't deal with bad experiences. And I was just flabbergasted, as were the other women in the room. Not just by the blatant sexism, but also by the idea. It's like, so you're basically saying that, first of all, if men have PTSD from rape, then that's not real and they should just deal with it. And then also, if you have PTSD from rape, then you should be stuck with it forever. Like, you know, it was just like, it was a very, I don't know, that whole like conversation was like, you know what? I don't want to spend the rest of my 4 years listening to stupid arguments like that and having to take it seriously. That was the worst thing too.
Absolutely, because I mean, he's already decided that he's not going to take your argument seriously.
Yeah.
But you're expected to take his seriously.
Absolutely. And that's philosophy classes. So anyway, all that to
Gross.
say is that if you're not a little bit bewildered by a philosophy theory, I think it's because you're not seriously engaging with it. So, because it kind of takes you have to be willing to accept the ground rules they're putting in. You know, like the idea, like Schrodinger's cat, right? It's like, okay, I need to accept that works, and it's not just like a stupid little thing you're saying.
Oh, sure.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like,
Oh, no.
And so that's all philosophy. You
Yeah,
know?
like, why should I care? It's like, okay, well, I will accept this as a reality.
Yeah,
You
just
are
for like a
positive.
few minutes at least
Sure,
to hear out
I'm
your
with you.
argument.
Go ahead.
So
Okay,
yeah, I mean, I enjoy reading and listening to philosophical arguments from people who actually will take things seriously rather than just say something that they think is inflammatory to get a response, because that's what I
That's
kept
what that
running into.
was, yeah.
Yes, that's what I kept running into, and I was like, you know what, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the big picture stuff.
You're goading
Yes.
me into an argument that then upsets me, and then you come off cool and
Yes,
collected.
exactly. Then I have to look like emotional. So, anyway, yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen Raising Arizona. I would
So-
totally like to. Maybe that would be a good opportunity to discuss it in the future.
Yeah, we could get Martyn over here, and we could do a recording. I would very look forward to hearing your thoughts on the movie. Fantastic comedy, and then there's a lot to do with like parenting and raising children. And I think that I would really, really like to hear your thoughts.
Then there's the diphtheria tetanus, what they call the dip tet. You gotta get them dip tet boosters yearly or else they'll develop lockjaw and night vision. Then there's the smallpox vaccine, chickenpox, and measles. And if your kid's anything like ours, you're gonna have to get all those shots yourself first before he'll ever take them. Who's your pediatrician anyway?
We ain't exactly fixed on one yet, have we, Hi? No, I guess we don't have one yet.
Jesus, well, you gotta have one. You gotta have one this instant.
Yeah, well, what if the baby gets sick, honey?
Even if he don't get sick, he's got to have his dip tet.
He's gotta have his dip tat, honey.
Well, as a mother of 2 dogs
And
and 2
two
cats,
as mother,
kind of an expert.
as the mother.
I know what you did last summer. Ooh.
This weekend, I also checked out some movies. I went to a public showing of, they called it Terror in the Woods.
Yes.
It was like a little kind of like horror fan event. They had all these booths out for like different vendors who sold everything from like haunted dolls to, you know, horror themed artwork.
You have a couple haunted dolls already, don't you?
I don't need any more.
I don't need any more.
I'm
I'm fine.
covered there. And you know what? I didn't even have to paint them to be haunted. They were just already haunted.
Yeah.
They were pre-haunted. And that's the way...
Pre-possessed.
Yes, pre-possessed. You can get them for very affordable prices at your local thrift store or estate sale, or sometimes in the garbage. So...
They just show up at your door, even better.
When I was like at the height of my doll fanaticism, which was all thanks to COVID, of course, my sister sent to me in the mail, I think she bought it through like Goodwill's auction site online, and it's this doll that is this little girl in like a Garfield costume, complete with like a porcelain mask. I mean, now it's like, I don't want it, but I can't get rid of it because my sister gave it to me, even though she just knows that that's why I'll keep it, and she gets to gloat forever over it. But anyway, they had all these little haunted dolls there. It was cute. But the main attraction was a double feature. And so the films that were shown were I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original one, because apparently there's a remake this year.
I didn't know that there was a remake. I know there's a whole series.
Yes.
And then it's been parodied in teen horror spoofs.
Yes.
You know, I Know What You Did Last Friday the 13th. And I've actually seen that more times than I've seen I Know What You Did Last Summer. And that's because I Know What You Did Last Friday the 13th was always on like TNT, like just on cable.
Oh my God.
I think he's dead.
I mean, it's definitely like a premiere film to goof on. It's
Oh, yeah.
And it's like 1997's, you know, you're following like some of the really big 80s and 70s horror hits where they're trying to re-examine the genre, like, you know, and do things that are like a little bit different or kind of play off the tropes that have been established.
Yeah.
And so it like tries to be a little, you know, playful with those themes, but then also totally just dives like headfirst into it. Like, you know, it starts off with like a classic, they're telling the ghost story of like the hook in the door.
So the boy and girl are making out, right? when they hear over the radio that this lunatic killer's escaped from an insane asylum.
That's not the way it goes. The boy goes for help, and the girl stays in the car, and she hears this, like, scratching sound.
No, he's been decapitated.
No, he was gutted with a hook.
You know the one,
Yeah.
right? You know?
Hook,
Hand
door.
hook car door.
Yes.
Hand hook car door.
She gets out to check, and man, door, hand, hook, car, door.
And then, you know, that becomes their reality. And the twists and turns are wild. But I did enjoy it more than I thought I would as a movie that I hadn't seen before. But of course, I'd kind of
had this idea.
Right, through osmosis.
Yeah,
it's
been made fun of. It's in the collective unconscious or consciousness, especially as like a teen horror movie.
Yeah.
Being like a young teen in the, you know, early 2000s, mid 2000s,
Yeah.
and like those being, they're like sleepover movies.
Yeah.
They're, you know, middle school, high school party movies. Something like just scary enough. And also with like our peers, like if we're talking a lot about like what is our reality in this episode, then that high school era is our reality, or
Yeah.
this sort of like romanticized version of reality, small town, prom pageants, you know,
Yeah.
festivals, things like that is a reality that's like reflected back to us. One that we wish we were a part of or feel very nostalgic for.
Yeah. It kind of feels like your older siblings like life. That's what it is.
Yes.
Because it's like 1997 and they're like going off to college. So I
Yeah.
guess they're probably like young Gen X.
Absolutely.
You know,
Toast to us.
because like my oldest sister graduated high school in 2003. So, you know, just a few years later. It felt very much like this is like the big sisters, the big brothers, you know,
Yeah.
it's just a little bit older than me. But it was fun. You know, I think there is a lot to say about it. I mean, it's goofy, it's silly, it's stupid. There's a reason why it's made fun of over and over again.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
But like the idea like that they, you know, they think they get away with this crime, but then it eats at them. And even before they know what the killer's coming back or whatever,
Yeah.
like their lives have fallen apart.
Yeah.
All consumed by guilt.
The guilt is such a powerful motivator, and it's a good indicator of like the, you know, conscious of these kids, like them forming at like their young age.
Yeah.
They're suffering severe consequences for severe actions.
And they're adults, but they also really don't have the grounding of being an adult. And they've
No
experienced
protection, nothing, yeah.
They've experienced a super traumatic event, but they can't tell anybody about it. And they're expected to just go on with their lives, but they're also in that weird, you know, 18 to 24 window where you're trying to figure out your role in the world. So I thought that was interesting.
I know all about accidents. And let me give you some advice. When you leave a man for dead, make sure he's really dead.
But the real star of the night was the second feature, which was Candyman. Have you seen Candyman?
Candyman.
No,
girl.
No.
We hear you looking for Candyman.
No, girl, I've never seen Candyman. I remember so vividly in like the first or second grade when some of the kids at my school would say like, Candyman.
Have you ever heard of Candyman? If you look in the mirror, you say his name 5 times.
And we'd all get scared, but like I didn't know who or what Candyman was, but like all of my friends were scared, so then I was scared.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, traumatized us. And they're like, if you go in the bathroom and you turn off the lights and you say, Candyman, and then he'll show up, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Oh, please don't make me, don't make me. But
Well, that's
I've
the whole
never
point of the
seen
movie.
it.
It's so Candyman, 1992 film. It's based on the works of that horror author that was also like Pinhead. Was that guy?
Oh, I don't know. I did not see Hellraiser either.
Yeah.
I have a fair amount of horror movie
Clive
blind
Barker.
Clive Barker.
Hellraiser is actually very good.
I have horror movie blind spots,
Yes.
and reason being, it's because I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm a little scaredy
I'm a
cat
little
too.
scared.
But I was actually shocked at how much I loved Candyman. So like I was, after the first movie wrapped up, I was like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I was like, I'm kind of like good. I'm good for the night. And I'm looking over at Darrell's like, you want to go? And he's like, let's wait for people to clear out. So then the next movie starts playing and immediately I'm captivated. Like it was just so good. I think that movie would have been a 5 out of 5 for me if it had just ended a little bit sooner, which is true for a lot of movies, honestly.
Fair, yeah.
I feel like they like really hook you in and then they try to be like,
car
and then
door
what
hook
happens?
hand.
Yeah. And then what happens? And you're kind of, but you know, Clive Barker, just like in Hellraiser, he's got this way of eroticizing like horror.
Helen, I came for you. You were not content with the stories, so I was obliged to come. Be my victim. Be my victim. I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed innocent blood. Come with me.
In a way that doesn't feel, it's like more all-encompassing rather than like this goofy, like big tits slasher type, you know, kind of erotic horror. This is like an all-consuming cosmic horror, like something bigger than you'll ever understand. And for Candyman, it was just kind of imagining this insane series of events that is beyond your control, that is totally like, you know, spiritual, but has real life consequences, and you're just forced along for the ride. Like that's what you're seeing. I was captivated by the film, so I highly recommend it. It was a good double feature because of the mythology, like this idea, like the urban legend.
Yeah.
But I was not scared.
Oh God, I didn't even put that together. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
It was like, it was very clever.
It ain't safe around here.
I'm very similar to you. Not with Candyman though. For me, my biggest fear was Bloody Mary. Yeah. Also,
I'm also afraid of her too.
Also a classic.
If she's listening right now, yeah, we're talking about you, girl. We're afraid of you.
Yeah, we're very afraid of you, so don't come to our mirrors. I have to admit that
you've
so
seen her,
stupid.
Don't tell me.
No.
I'll
So
die.
like, you know, I was so scared, and I wouldn't even like turn off the light in the bathroom as a kid. Like not even if I knew I was not going to say the words Bloody Mary, I was like, the bathroom light has to be on at all times.
Absolutely.
When I was like 25, 24, I was working at this for-profit university library, and I had a lot of downtime because like nobody really came into the library, but that was my job, was to be at the desk, like you do, you know, like that's most of your job is being there, being available. And so I would get kind of bored, and there was a bathroom across the hallway.
No.
And there was a time where I like, the lights were off, and I was like, you know, you're like really scared of going to the bathroom with the lights off because of Bloody Mary. And I decided at the ripe old age of 25 to finally
Frontal lobe
say
developed.
Bloody Mary in front of the mirror 5 times, and nothing happened. But maybe she's just waiting for the perfect moment. She was like,
not yet.
You waited 25 years, so I'm gonna wait 25
I can wait a little
years.
bit too.
Yeah,
I got
so
time.
at 50, you're gonna find me like slashed open in the bathroom. It's okay. You know, Bloody Mary deserved her revenge for me being like, oh my God, you're not even real. I was
Stay
scared
away,
of you
you
for so
evil
long.
witch.
But anyway, so those are the movies that we both checked out recently.
What a stupid conversation.